Yo, what's up, weirdos? Good morning. What's going on? All right, so Bitcoin having another little bit of a correction today, guys. We've fallen below the 30-day SMA so far, and we'll see what happens. Can we get back above it? Can we close back above it? Or do we have more downside to go? Well, we'll find out, guys. We will find out. We do have a significant level of support right about there. We could catch, but we don't want to fall below the 30-day, guys. The 30-day always acts as, a pain in the ass to get back above. So we don't really want to do that. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. My microphone was muted. I unmuted it. But yeah, so we lost the 30-day. We want to get back above it here before the daily candle close. We still have like 9 hours before the daily candle close. So a lot could happen. This candle could be way up here in green by the time the day ends today. So yeah. Okay, what do we have? We have a super sticker from Go Fast. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for that. You sent a super chat but forgot to type in the can I do TA on Clearpool? Yes, I can. Why not? Why not? I'm tired and I'm cranky today, guys. So be on your best behavior. So right now, we're not really at a significant level one way or the other for Clearpool. We are in a bit of a, we're trying to break out of a consolidation, like an accumulation range that we've been in for about 162 days, right? So what I would say is when Clearpool does break out of this, which it is doing right now, as you can see, here, let me put a permanent box on there. Hang on. So essentially, all right, let's zoom in. Let me show you. So it's been 162 days. We've been inside this accumulation phase. We've broken out, and now what's happening is we're actually retesting the top trend line of the breakout for support right here. We're retesting it to confirm the breakout before we go, right? Which is very, very common for that to happen. So I think Clearpool is about to go on like a full send kind of trajectory. Now, I often use ZBEC as an example. It always pops in my mind. So if we go back to ZBEC and we look here, look at this, very similar. We had this accumulation phase that we were getting into this whole time we were buying ZBEC. We had our breakout. We had the failed retest here, and it fell back down inside. But when it finally did get the breakout, and then it came back down here, as you can see, we came up, we came back down, we retested the top of the box, the top of the trend line for support, and then look at the run that we went on after that, right? So I think Clearpool's getting ready to do something very, very similar right now. But how long was this consolidation? This was before the breakout, 296 days, and then this failed breakout was 222. So the breakout on Clearpool might not be quite as big as ZBEX was, but 162 days is still a significant amount of time to consolidate. It will still be probably 2/3 of the size of the ZBEC breakout. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Lynn, good morning. I upgraded to the one-on-one coaching tier. Appreciate all your knowledge and can't wait to get on your calendar. Hey, absolutely. Yes, guys, be patient with me. I have right now 45 DMs over on the Patreon that I have to get to today. So bear with me on that. Andy, my dude, we appreciate all you do for us, Rob. Hey, no problem, brother. I appreciate you, man. Andy's putting in the work over on the Patreon, keeping everybody in line, my dude, my brother. Absolutely. Okay, what else do we have? Let's get into the chat a little bit, shall we? Okay, what do we got in the chat this morning? Brian, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Good morning. Lions Den on the road trip to the Midwest for a few days, but I got my laptop. There you go, brother. William, good to see you, buddy. Guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe on the way in. It helps the channel grow. It costs you absolutely nothing. So go ahead and get that done for me. That would be super fantastic. Do it. Do it now. Candyman! My wife yelled at me. My wife yelled from upstairs and asked, "Do you ever get a shooting pain across your body, like someone's got a voodoo doll of you and they're stabbing it?" I said no. She responded, "How about now?" Nice. Nice. I gotta write some of these down, brother. I gotta write some of these down. Fridge, you the GOAT, Rob. Thanks for showing up every day for us. Hey, absolutely, man. Thank you guys for showing up for me every day too. Right? You guys are here for me too. I appreciate that. Otherwise, I'd just be some weirdo talking to himself on the internet, right? Ain't nobody got time for that. Quentin, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Spuds, what's up, my dude? Motivation Daily, what's up, my 10% fam? Like, subscribe, and join the club, guys. Absolutely. What do we got hanging? Gonna DCA summon to cookie and grind for some last flakes of dry powder. Rob, we appreciate all you do for the community. Hell, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Eric, good morning to all future millionaires, thousandaires. Why won't the government embrace BTC? They hate the idea of proof of work. Apparently they are embracing BTC. I don't know. A lot of back and forth. J Money, we got Bulbasaur in the house. Where have you been? Where have you been, my friend? Inside the walk-in refrigerator at work, listening to the live. Well, I hope you're wearing a jacket, brother. What do we got? Shannon, what's up, man? Good to see you. Go fast. Read that already. Let's go wormhole. Absolutely. What's up, Tyler? Good to see you, buddy. Patreon Gem is killing it today. Yes, it is. Yeah, I've been on a bit of a heater lately, guys? I told you guys a few days ago to buy Gary, and Gary went up 500% in 24 hours. Then I told you to sell Gary to take profits, and then after that it dumped, just like I said it would. And then I told you guys to buy XDB, and now XDB is pumping. Absolutely. I've been on a heater, baby. Been on a heater with God's grace. He's giving it to me, man. He's giving it to me. E-Dubs, what's up, man? E-W. Hey, fam, I got to catch a live today. Woohoo, there you go. Jesse and James, once again, loving this XD pump. There you go. Thanks for putting me on it, Roberto. Hey, no problem, brother. Wolfbang, good morning, my friend. Good to see you. Dennis, thanks, Rob. Hey, no problem. Hey, would you do TA on Banker? Thinking of throwing some OT money into that. Yeah, altcoin requests go on the goals tab at the top, unless you are a Patreon member. It's time for the transition to the XRPL. Go fast, thank you, Rob. No problem, brother. No problem at all. Beebs, my dude, over on both channels again. Thank you so much, buddy. H Barbarina's in the house, and Exit Flip XDB looking nice. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Wow, we're caught up in the chat already. Holy smokes. All right, well, let's get into the news, shall we? It's kind of a weird day. I feel weird. I don't know if I'm getting sick or something. I'm tired. I don't know. I feel like my voice is kind of off as well. But let's get into the news. Nevertheless, my friends, let's get into it. See what's happening out there. Right, but first, quick shout out to the channel sponsor, as always, Decent Biometric Wallet. Not your keys, not your coins, guys. Use our link down below. Get a phenomenal deal. 2-for-1 deal on the biometric wallets. Don't miss it, guys. Get it while it's there. Ditto, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Okay, let's get into some of the news around crypto today. What's going on out there? So a little bit of mixed messaging going on with Besant yesterday. Now, a lot of people freaked out about what he said about how the government's not going to be purchasing Bitcoin. This isn't brand new information. And that's what's weird to me about it, because they said they were not going to use taxpayer money to buy Bitcoin. They said that all along. They said they weren't. So I don't understand. But then now we have Cynthia Lummis here. She says a bill to buy 1 million Bitcoin will be on the floor soon. Tighten your seatbelt. So what are we talking about here? We're either buying 1 million Bitcoin for the U.S. government, or we're not, right? There's all this mixed messaging kind of going on right now. It's weird. It's weird. How is she planning? I know before she talked about wanting to sell gold reserves to buy Bitcoin. So I don't know what her plan is. Maybe she wants to print money. I don't know. Take vitamin E. Yes, absolutely. Grabbed a milli of Miria last night, and my father-in-law grabbed. There you go. Nice. Million this morning. There you go. Nice. Miria for the win. Ramona's in the house. Our very own crypto mom. What's going on, Ramona? Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I'm out of it this morning for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Speaking of, let's see what Paul Atkins has to say. We are mobilizing to make America the crypto capital of the world. What does that even mean? That's what I'm curious about. What does that even mean?
So a couple of weeks ago, the administration issued the President's Working Group's report on digital assets in the United States, and there were clear directions to the SEC. We're part of the PWG, that President's Working Group, and clear recommendations for us to go forward and help make what the President has announced, his intention to make America the crypto capital of the world and have the world run on American technology. So we're mobilizing at the SEC all our different divisions and offices to focus on making that announcement become reality. So that's with our corporation finance division, investment management, and others. We're focusing on what we can do to make the regulations of the SEC encompass the crypto assets and also make it so that people can have some clarity going forward. We're working with Congress. Obviously, the Genius Act was enacted here a few weeks ago with a big announcement at the White House by the President himself, and as he signed it. So that I thought was a very good step forward. And now there are other bills in Congress that are being considered. And when they return from their recess, I look forward to much more forward progress.
So here's my thoughts on this, guys. I was thinking about it a lot, because a lot of the administration is using the term, making the U.S. the crypto capital of the world, and all this stuff, which sounds great, sounds fantastic. But it got me thinking, what are they doing to make it the crypto capital of the world? I don't see anything that is not being done anywhere else, right? They're passing law, they're trying to build legal framework, which is fantastic, don't get me wrong. But so is everybody else. So is most people, right? Most countries. So for me personally, and this is just my own personal humble opinion, right? You have to be doing something eccentric, right? To be considered the crypto capital of the world. You have to be buying Bitcoin and accumulating as much of it as you can, or you have to have zero capital gains tax on it, right? Or something. You have to be doing something that nobody else is doing to make you the crypto capital of the world. If you're just passing legislation into law that makes it easier for investors to buy crypto, well, everybody else is either doing the same thing, has already done the same thing, or will do the same thing in the future. So what are you doing that's going to make you the crypto capital of the world, right? And so far, I haven't seen them do anything or say anything that they're going to do something that's going to separate them from the pack at the end of the day, right? I don't know. In my opinion, you're still going to see young people who are becoming millionaires in crypto leaving Western culture, whether it's the US or Canada, for these other countries, for tax purposes alone, because the U.S. and Canada rake you over the coals in capital gains tax, right? So people are still going to be leaving in droves if you don't fix that. I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts on it, right? I mean, right now in Canada, it's like for every $1 million I make in crypto, I have to pay the government $330,000 on every million that I make. That's absurd. It's absurd. It's a third of my money I'm giving you, right? So, yeah. What do we got? Cody, my dude, good morning. Smash that like and subscribe. Have a great Friday. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Are we expecting Bitcoin to dip further? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see somewhere between 114 and 116. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. It's not guaranteed, but it wouldn't shock me. Rick, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Always watching Just Quiet. Appreciate it. You and all your... I get the hiccups. It's clear you want to educate us, and you are our biggest fan. Absolutely. Thank you. Is an ownership. Absolutely no problem. You're absolutely right. I want to see everybody win. Muriel winning exactly where it deserves to be. Yes, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Danny, good to see you, buddy. Ray, good to see you, man. Tyler, you're absolutely right about that, Rob. Thank you so much. Crypto capital of the world means the U.S. is going to roll out the mark of the beast before anyone else. None shall buy or sell save Eddie. The Fed government owns a ridiculous amount of real estate. Start selling some and buy BTC. Yeah, the problem is it'll all get bought up by China or something, right? That's the other side of that coin. Let's check the Coinbase app tracker. Let's see what's going on there, guys. All right, so ranked today, 229 among all apps, down from 215 yesterday. And among finance apps, we're at 20, down from number 15 yesterday. So the Coinbase app down a little bit today, which means we still have a lot of time to go here. Isn't 33% on... Yeah, so it's the way that it works in Canada is it's 60%, 66% of 50%, which is basically 33%. Yes, it's like a third of my money, right? All right, what else do we have? Oh yeah, expect some volatility today, guys. We could see some volatility. I don't know if Otaku talked about this. Normally he does, but look at that. Look at that. Look how much options are expiring today. Crazy amount. Crazy amount. You could see some volatility, guys. Could see some volatility today. Be prepared for that. All right, let's get into what Percent was talking about yesterday again here. Let's see the update. So U.S. Treasury statement sends Bitcoin tumbling after historic highs. He's probably sitting in the background right now somewhere going, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. On the evening of August 14th, 2025, Bitcoin's price suddenly dropped from 123,800 to 117,180. After comments from U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. In an interview with Fox Business, he stated, "We've also started to get into the 21st century, a Bitcoin strategic reserve. We're not going to be buying that, but we are going to use confiscated assets to continue to build that up. We're going to stop, and we're going to stop selling," because the Biden administration was selling, right? Initially, this declaration signaled a halt in government Bitcoin accumulation, fueling panic and a sharp correction. At the time of writing, Bitcoin remains just below $119,000, with the all-time high above $124,000 reached earlier that night. When asked if initiatives like the Bitcoin Reserve and gold revaluation were part of the sovereign fund plan, he responded, "These are all great original ideas, but they require the infrastructure to be built for legislation and oversight. However, it is the right step in terms of securing the future for the next generation. Triggered by Besant's statement, the daily volume of liquidations exceeded 963 million, mainly affecting leveraged positions in Bitcoin and other major cryptocurrencies. Market capitalization for Bitcoin fell from 2.48 trillion to 2.33 trillion. As per TradingView, the crypto community also linked this turbulence to the resignation of Bo Hines, the head of the Presidential Working Group on Crypto Assets, deepening concerns about sector leadership. After backlash, Besant issued a follow-up statement clarifying that the U.S. Treasury seeks budget-neutral options for reserve growth, not direct purchases from the Treasury. Community members joked that someone whispered to the minister about the fallout, while others saw the shifting stance as evasion of responsibility. As one commentator noted, quote, "It's all out in the open now. The government doesn't care about Bitcoin. They just want to line the pockets of the insiders," which, I mean, isn't that much of a stretch, to be honest with you. Ghetto Born, this is Amaru Rob. Good morning. Hope you got your beauty sleep. I really didn't. I'm kind of a wreck this morning, to be honest with you. I'm excited to upgrade to the top tier. New perks, new money, baby. There you go. Absolutely. It's going to be great to have you over there, my friend. It's going to be great to have you on the top tier. Yes, I will be adding a different exchange instead of L Bank. I'm going to be using a different exchange for it because with L Bank you got to use a VPN, and the other one you don't need a VPN. So we're going to go with that. So, but I will be updating you guys as we do that. So, all right, what else do we have going on? Let's check it out. South Korean investors dump big tech for Ethereum-related stocks. In recent weeks, South Korean retail investors have been moving away from U.S. tech stock companies like Tesla, Apple, and Alphabet, and instead they're putting large amounts of money into stock related to Ethereum. According to local media outlet Hankyung, the biggest winner in the shift is Bitmine, Emerson Technologies, the U.S.-listed company backed by billionaire Peter Thiel. Bitmine used to mine Bitcoin, but recently switched to focusing entirely on Ethereum. As per data from Strategic ETH Reserve, Bitmine now holds around $5.32 billion worth of Ethereum and has become the largest treasury holder globally. The company has even hinted at issuing up to $20 billion in stocks to buy more Ethereum. Since early July, South Korean investors have bought around $259 to $269 million worth of Bitmine shares, making it the most popular foreign stock in Korea. The rise in interest is due to, in part, to the newly passed Genius Act, which is intended to give stablecoins a clearer legal position. Investors believe this will boost ETH's market price, which has already jumped nearly 40% this year. This rise in interest is due to the, sorry, I already read that part. Analysts say South Koreans are preferring Bitmine because it is high-risk, high-reward play, much like crypto, which is already very popular in the country. Moreover, there is also a sense of pride among them due to the fact that its chairman, Tom Lee, is of Korean descent. This makes the stock feel more connected and personal to local investors. That's kind of racist. It's kind of racist. Additionally, other ETH and crypto-related stocks are also gaining attention. Robinhood, Coinbase, and SharpLink Gaming all saw strong buying from Korean investors. SharpLink holds over 728,800 ETH, and its stock price has surged by 126% in July. Ben, enjoying joining here, Rob. About to jump to the Patreon and give it a whirl. Check it out, brother. You're not going to be disappointed. It is. It's pretty fun, man. It's pretty fun. At the same time, many Korean investors are selling off Magnificent Seven tech stocks. Since last month, they have sold about 1 trillion won, or $770 million of Tesla shares, 300 billion won, or 230 million in Apple shares, and 230 billion won, or 177 million of Alphabet shares. High valuations, poor company performance, and concerns over U.S. tariffs under Mr. Trump are making them cautious about overseas investments. Between January and April this year, Korean investors bought $3.8 billion worth of U.S. stock, but sales spiked in May and June before a smaller buying rebound in July. Returns on their top foreign stocks have also slowed from 16% in May to just 4.2% in July. Experts believe this new ETH stock craze may continue. Kind of goes with what I said to you guys over on the Patreon. If you know, you know, right? If you know, you know. What else do we have? Let's go over to Squawk Box. Suremark Digital CEO Scott Stornetta on efforts to fight AI deepfakes and identity fraud.
Deepfakes are a growing concern for individuals, of course, politicians and institutions. Our next guest is betting on a non-AI solution. Scott Stornetta is the CEO and founder of Suremark Digital, which applies blockchain principles to identity and aims to protect its users from AI fraud. Scott's also credited as the co-founder of the blockchain. So we got an OG on the program this morning. Scott, it's great to see you. Help us understand what your business does and help us understand how we actually are going to protect ourselves, because all too often I'm watching all sorts of things. I've been watching this hilarious woman on Instagram, and then I find out that she's not a real person, that she's an AI. Scott.
The girl who said fat people
so
go
let me
to,
just say from the start,
Crate and Barrel, huh?
net, it's going to be a great thing, but it does have some rough around the edges problems, including the classic grandma scam where who you think is the grandson is calling from jail and needs $500 wired. The point is, seeing is no longer believing, and hearing is no longer believing. And so there's a way now, and this is what the Suremark credential does, so that your circle, your closest circle, those you trust, your family members, your banker, your accountant, your attorney, when you get a call from them and it sounds like them and it says it's their phone number, you can't assume that it's them anymore. But there's a simple solution that's founded on long established principles that lets you quickly push a button to challenge, is this really you? And for them to respond by pushing a button, yes, it is.
So, but that's a technological solution, Scott. I've been told, and actually I haven't really done it with my family, I should, that you're supposed to create like a password, that everybody should have a password, some kind of unique phrase or something that somebody else would not know, and you're supposed to say, you know, my wife, so I know it's really my wife, which is crazy.
Right. This is the FBI's recommendation, and it's a good start. A shared password, bazooka, something like that.
Bazooka.
What you want is something that essentially incorporates that principle, but in a much more secure and scalable way. And that's what the Suremark credential does.
And so initially, Suremark, I imagine the client is it's an enterprise product, or is it really more of a consumer product?
Well, it appeals to public officials, it appeals to the enterprise, and it also appeals to the individual for grandma scams. It's just a different level of protection and breadth of coverage.
And what's the price point?
What we see are VC firms, family offices, multifamily offices, high-end money managers. They want to know who really is on the other end of that call or who their counterparty is in a conversation.
What happens when more and more money transfers and things take place electronically where it's not on the phone? So, I think I got a notice from a bank recently saying that they, it used to be that if you were going to make a wire transfer, they would have to call you to confirm. And then they were more recently saying, do you want to do it just over apps in the future? So if we directionally go in that way, what happens to the grandma scam telephone call?
Well, the grandma scam is still going to be prevalent because what you're talking about are, controlled ACH transfers through portals. The concern is the setup to the con. Okay, hi, this is your banker. I'm going to be sending you the information by which you can do the wire. And so when that gets faked, you end up going to the wrong secure portal. And kiss your money goodbye.
Since you are, as we described at the beginning, an OG of the blockchain, I'm curious if the blockchain has done what you thought it was going to do in the beginning, or now that you've seen what's happening with all the crypto stuff that we talk about every day, has it gotten out of control? What's your take a decade later, more than a decade later?
Yeah, unfortunately, more than a decade later. Technology can be used for good and ill. And all that Dr. Haber and I did in laying the foundations in the blockchain was to ensure the integrity of the record. And that doesn't mean that we're responsible for every speculative cryptocurrency, but it does mean that we laid a secure foundation for things like stable coins, which I think are going to be a major step forward. And it means that there's a record integrity and transparency option available. Now, whether people implement the blockchain properly and take advantage of that or use the cryptocurrency hype to scam someone, that's out of our control. But it's very humbling to feel that something you did 20 plus years ago is now becoming part of the financial infrastructure foundation layer.
Tell me you bought a lot of Bitcoin.
I hate to disappoint, but I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. And I guess the way we say it is, Dr. Haber and I, we love all of our children, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or stable coins or whatnot.
You own zero?
I don't comment on the positions that I personally hold.
Anything less than owning 1,000 of them is disappointing. I feel bad, but it's okay.
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to be a disappointer then.
Scott, I want to thank you. It's a fascinating product, and more we're going to need it. So thank you for coming on this morning, and we hope to talk again soon.
Less than 1,000 is a disappointment. What do we got here? Cody, can you look at XCN? XCN is just in a giant symmetrical triangle still, my friend. We're riding the bottom trend line of the symmetrical triangle right now. Will the trend line hold or not? Now, symmetrical triangles, you have, I think, a 60-40 chance of breaking to the upside, I think, something like that. So it is a bullish structure, but it's been going on for a long time here. So we're getting close to the end of this. Either way, she's going to pop. So probably within a week or two, pops. Yeah, still inside a symmetrical triangle. My coworker panic sold his XCN. I'm sure. Oh, oof. Yeah, not a great idea, man. Not a great idea. All right, what else do we have? Could I look at Jasmine? Yeah, altcoin requests go on the goals tab at the top of the chat, my friend, unless you are a Patreon member. You're wrong about the Genius Act. You are wrong. No, the Genius Act doesn't remove all government control over money. It doesn't make Bitcoin tax-free. It doesn't legalize decentralized finance. And no, it's not a Trojan horse for mark of the beast style CBDC, especially with anti-CBDC provisions passed alongside of it. What the Genius Act does, and what we should cheer, is break the stranglehold that a handful of powerful banks and regulators have maintained over the global dollar clearing for decades. Yes, absolutely. That's why JP Morgan and them are all, and the Bank of America are all upset about the Genius Act, because they lose control, they lose the power. It ends their monopoly on who gets access to clean dollars. and makes their quiet mandate to monitor how that money is used, and whether it aligns with the political agendas in Washington or on Wall Street. Far more difficult, perhaps, but even out of reach. The Genius Act is the first real crack in the system, drifting for years towards financial authoritarianism. Say that 3 times fast. Riding the wave of stablecoins-driven dollarization, it knocks the U.S. federal. I'm tongue-tied today. Holy smokes! It knocks them off of their surveillance-based regime, steers it imperfectly but meaningfully towards broader monetary freedom and globally accessing the still stable reserve currency. So it's stopping the banks from being in control of your money. Though the torch and pitchfork crowd will accept nothing less than crypto. Understand, we're not pitchforks and torches. Come on. Understanding this landmark legislation requires looking to crypto and banking history rather than recent social media outrage. When I left traditional finance for crypto over a decade ago, I had a crypto dream and a crypto nightmare. The dream was that Bitcoin specifically, and crypto more broadly, would become a better form of money for people, especially those who lack access to it. A kind of public utility that fueled growth and improved lives. Here's the thing, guys. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that you see that so many people who are not wealthy are making tons of money now when it comes to investing in crypto and using crypto, right? This is obvious at this point, right? And then you have the banks who are pissed off and don't like crypto. And you have the rich, like the Democrats, who are fighting against it. It doesn't take a genius to figure out why the Democrats were fighting so violently against crypto, right? Because it's transferring wealth back from the wealthy, and it's redistributing that wealth to people in the middle class and the lower class. And it's a nightmare for them. Think about it. It's a nightmare for them, right? So, of course, they're going to fight back. And I think there's still going to be some last gasps of breath that come from their struggle. Elizabeth Warren is still in Congress, so that's still an issue, right? She's not just going to give up and go away. She's like the banker's representation in Congress, even though she runs on being anti-big bank. They're the ones that pay her, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's not even a secret anymore. It's not like, it's blatantly obvious. It's not a conspiracy theory. Ray says, hit that like button. Yeah, guys, we have 368 people here. We only have 104 likes. Let's get the likes up, guys. People have been slacking on the likes. Candyman just upgraded my Patreon membership to the one-on-one level. We'll call you in 20 minutes. Nice. Wolf Bane, what's going on? Agree with that. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, guys, right? Doesn't take a genius to figure it out. Okay, what else do we have? Parts of the market outside of tech remain pretty active. So, markets, how are the markets looking this morning? Let's have a look.
It's now Stephanie Link, Chief Investment Strategist, Portfolio Manager at Hightower Advisors, as well as a CNBC contributor. And I've learned not to ask you what the market's going to do near term, and with you, you're managing money, so it has to do with individual names, and it doesn't really matter what the overall market's doing. But would you be more cautious based on the number yesterday, or simply based on the PPI, or simply based on the August-September seasonal sort of trend?
Yeah, I mean, I think that August and September typically are the weakest months of the year. If you go back 10 years, August is about flat. September is down about 2%. But by the way, October, which gets kind of the bad reputation, on average, it's up 2%. So you do want to be buying into the volatility. We might get volatility retail sales later today. We get Jackson Hole next week. We get inflation numbers again before the meeting. But at the end of the day, I mean, the economy is growing at 2.5%. Earnings have come in much better than expected, led by margins, which has been something that I've been expecting. So, yeah, so on the volatility, Joe, I think you do want to be buying, because I think once we get through this volatile period, the fourth quarter setup is going to be a good one. Typically, it's seasonally the strongest of the year. And I think you're still getting a lot of companies on sale. Maybe not tech, but other parts of the market are actually still pretty attractive.
Well, even though you're loath to jump into the political backdrop, if you really thought tariffs were going to be a really negative thing for the U.S. economy, I don't think you would have said what you just said.
Right. Well, look, I mean, we have tariffs, and CPI was, high, elevated, sticky, but you're making progress on shelter, which is 34% of CPI. PPI, obviously not a good number yesterday, very sticky, but a lot of that was portfolio management fees up 5.8%. And maybe the trade services strength, maybe that's a one-time thing or two-time thing. So I think what was interesting, Joe, is after the numbers this week, the probability of the Fed still cutting 25 basis points in September is still 94%. So I think that the tone of Powell next week will be key, and that could create some volatility. But I think we do want to be buying that because, by the way, in the face of all of this, weekly jobless claims actually came in, again, really good. You're running at about 221,000 on a four-week moving average. So the labor market is still pretty good.
Yeah, Rick mentioned that. We do... I don't know whether it's what we do for a living or what, but we go from, oh my God, tariffs, the end of the world, tariffs, to, oh my God, tariffs haven't done anything. We're waiting for inflation. It's never going to be a negative. We're there for, a month. Now we're back to, oh my God, tariffs are the end of the world for inflation. It's never like sort of just, reasonable, or maybe, somewhere in the middle.
We're always extreme, of course, right? But I think what gets misplaced is the reason that why are we doing tariffs to begin with? I mean, we're generating revenue. I know it's at a cost. I understand that. But we're also bringing more jobs back here, more manufacturing back here. That's why the onshoring and reshoring theme has been so powerful. And that's why, okay, we understand the NVIDIA story and the Broadcom story, but the industrial companies that have exposure to data center and grid and power, those stocks have all done so amazingly well. They've actually pulled back a little bit as of late. I think there are your opportunities too.
Yeah, you're right, though. It's like... It's a tax. It's a tax. It's a tax.
Yeah.
From people who love taxes. You wanted to go to 28% on the corporate tax rate. Now you don't like it. You found a tax you don't like. I'm not talking about you. Calm down. But you know the people I'm talking about. That they've never met a tax they didn't like until Trump puts a tariff on, and then it's a tax they don't like. Because it really is a tax, and it might be the only thing you can say.
It's a regressive tax.
Okay, maybe
it's a regressive tax. Look, I'm not making the point one way or the other. I'm just saying that's what it is.
I know that's what you fall back.
It's not a fallback. It's the factual.
Because it's may get past the consumers. Right. Okay, I understand that. But normally, taxes. I mean, rub them all over my. I mean, I sleep.
No, there's no question that Democrats. Especially the most liberal among the Democrats would like higher corporate taxes.
And why isn't that regressive?
Why isn't that regressive? That's actually a good and smart question.
I know. Thanks.
There you go.
I try.
And I'm giving you some credit, my friend.
All right. Well, I'm telling you that's the knee jerk is the regressive thing, because that gets you out of admitting that Democrats love taxes but hate tariffs when it's the same thing, basically.
It's not really the same thing.
Might be better.
Maybe it's better, by the way.
Maybe it's better because we're accomplishing something.
But then you know what? Yeah. Then the administration and the government should say, the reason we are doing these tariffs is because we're trying to raise revenue, and we're trying. This is a form of a tax, and let's just say what it is.
But they're not going to say it. But there is.
But they're not going to say it.
There is some truth, and we saw yesterday that there is some truth that some of the foreign exporters are eating some of this because they don't want to lose the market share. And that's money we're getting. You could connect the dots and say we're getting money from
the one
them.
thing that I don't think people fully appreciate.
Poor Steph.
Sorry, Steph. There's one thing.
Like a tennis match.
It's okay.
He's just awkwardly sitting there.
I think there's a view among some, and I think it's a wrong view, that somehow these tariffs are temporary or may be here for a couple of years during the Trump administration, may not be here in the future. It seems to me that this is a new state of permanence that's going to last almost at minimum at least a decade or two. Because
Even the Democratic administration.
Well, because here's the
you're just assuming JD is going to be president.
No. What I'm assuming is once you raise, call it $300 billion a year, and that's built into the budget.
You might like that.
It is it's very hard to turn around and say, actually,
Biden couldn't do it.
No. We don't want that money.
Biden couldn't.
And so
do it.
by default, there's a permanence about this, which, by the way, I think therefore has a permanence to the sort of geopolitical situation, our relationship with others. That's what I'm saying, that this is a real shift, like a long-term generational shift that may be happening in this moment. And you're saying, oh, it's just a moment. I'm saying this is like I don't want to say forever. Nothing's forever, but it's long-term.
Yep.
That's the point.
It's funny, Andrew. Everyone has been complaining about the deficits, the debt. And if you could actually chip away and get $300 billion a year, that's a positive over the longer term. And I think if you have better than expected
I'm not saying it isn't.
Because beyond tariffs, but wait, beyond tariffs, you get past tariffs and you have deregulation and you've got the tax situation that we all know. They're staying low. They're not lower, but they're staying low. You have CapEx and a huge CapEx cycle that we have not seen in over a decade. You add it all up. That's actually positive. The tariffs are not positive on the consumer. I get it. I understand. But there are some positives that we have to consider. And that is what the market is telling us. And you have to look at the market. It's a forward-looking indicator.
Ooh, she comes in at the end and just bitch slaps them. Nice. I dig it. Let's go back over to the Bitcoin chart. What's going on, guys? So, yeah, we're below the 30-day right now. Can we hold 116,400, or are we going to see our next leg down somewhere right around here, around 115,000? Well, we'll see which one holds, guys. We'll see where we hold. We might just get back up over the 30-day SMA. That would be ideally what I want to see, but I want to know what you guys think. Quick shout out, guys, to the newest Patreon members. Ziggy Zhao, Eddie, Jason, and Big John. Welcome aboard, my friends. Welcome to the family. Awesome to have you guys. All right. So, yeah. All right, guys. I will be back around 2 p.m. for the afternoon live stream. Hopefully, I'm feeling a little bit better. And, yeah, again, welcome to all our new Patreon members. Welcome aboard. Get over there, guys. Join the club. The link is in the chat. It's in the pinned comments. It's in the description. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.